In fact, I was so surprised that the world could be so slow in thinking. I never knew that man could be like this. I had always thought that man is a reasonable, understanding creature that feels the woes, the troubles of others. But I didn't know that man, especially those who are in power, those who rule, that they could be so wicked and so hardened that they cannot just feel the trouble, the woes of others, and that they could just determine to starve a whole people and kill a whole people. No, the world is so slow in understanding.
Biafra is at the moment experiencing jungle justice, which is the justice of might is right, because we are under an economic blockade, we are under a propaganda blockade, we are under a diplomatic blockade. Nobody sees what we are suffering, nobody hears what we are suffering, and as a result of that, the wrong story is presented to the world. We are not heard, and therefore we cannot be judged except on the basis of the lies being told about us. When we have been able to overcome this jungle justice and we are heard, then we will then get the civilized justice, because our case will be brought into the open. And once a case is in the open, you cannot play tricks. We are now victims of blackmail because we are being suppressed, we are being muzzled.
But you still fight on?
We fight on, oh yes, Biafra fights on.
How long have you been in Africa, sister?
11 years in all.
What do you think of this whole situation?
I think it's just terrible. Terrible now. There's so many innocent people, so many civilians being killed. It is tragic, really.
Terrible, terrible, terrible is the situation that Biafra experienced. Very, very terrible, very horrible. You cannot just quantify it. There are no words to qualify, what Biafra actually went through. The Asaba massacre, the whole of the war, the killings of our people, the starvation, the horror that our people went through. You can't just qualify it. Our people went through hell. It was real hell on earth. The world watched by and our people were killed. The world watched by and our people were starved. The world watched by and the superpowers of the world watched by and allowed our people to be decimated and to be, almost extinction. That is what the world permitted. That is what wickedness, the evil of the world permitted. So that is why we have decided that on Friday we're going to be remembering together. We're going to be locking down Biafra land as a means of sending the message and telling the world that we know what they did to us, and reminding ourselves also and the future generations to come that today, the 7th of Friday, 7th of October 2022, we actually are remembering our brothers who were killed in Asaba, our people who were maimed, our people who were destabilized, our people who were cut off. We are remembering them. So when you hear of the Asaba massacre, which happened, in line with the genocide against Biafra people during the 1967 war, you should know that we actually are remembering the gruesome evil that the world perpetuated, spearheaded by Britain against Biafra people. So I want us to understand this, that it's a basic fact and we must take it very seriously. That is why Biafra people must understand that every instruction that comes from the spokesperson of Biafra is important, because every instruction is designed out of the notion that we know the facts of the things that happen to us. We use the facts of the things that happen to us, the situation and the problems, to determine what we do as a response to that. Remember, we said we cannot forgive, we can't forget. We can forgive because we have to get back, back vengeance. God will avenge for us. We will avenge also. If there's a place of our vengeance, God using us to avenge of what has happened. The same thing God did when Israel went into the promised land. God told Saul, go and kill the Amalekites, because I want to avenge Israel of the evil committed by these people. So God is going to use also this generation to avenge of the evil committed against Biafrans. I welcome you to this special broadcast today. Today is it's Wednesday, the 5th of October, 2022, and this broadcast is meant to continue the episode of the Asaba massacre, the horror, the situation, and the video evidence that portrays the totality of the war and gruesomeness against Biafra people. You see, when we talk about these things, the reason why we keep hammering on these things is for the people to understand. There's a need for you to understand, to come to identify yourself with what actually happened to you. As a race, as a generation, as a people, you might not know how much you have suffered except you have information about what you have gone through. Because when you don't have information about what you've gone through, what you keep doing is to keep, believing the lies that you are told, and accepting the fact of the lies that you are being told and the manipulations that come your way. You begin to think that you're embracing friends when you're actually embracing the enemies. Some of us who want to travel to Britain, some of us who want to do things with the British, some of us who want to listen to the British, some of us who want to preserve the confines or the dictates of the British, some of us who want to preserve the legacy of the British people against our own culture, against our own beliefs, against what they did to us. You don't understand the level of evil these people have done to us. That is why that 7th of April, which is 2 days from now, we're going to be locking down Biafra land, because we want to take it seriously. Please, we're going to be going straight to the video right now so that we can be able to deal with some matters, and critically so. This is Biafra Global Network. Please share this video on all your social media platforms. Welcome your people, invite them to join us, and also get your friends and loved ones and all of that to get to have this video, so that they will know what is happening, and they can know what happened to their brothers, their sisters, their fathers, their mothers, their friends, their well-wishers, and the people who were part of the race where they come from, the people who are part of that race, that Igbo race that we all belong. That is why we have come to do this and to expose so many facts and details. And I want you to join me as we circumnavigate this. If you look at the video I played, in essence, the video that began this broadcast, you'll discover some important facts that man said. And of course, he said something critical that we're holding on to. We fight on. We fight on. We fight on. We must understand this fact that we're fighting on. We cannot stop fighting. We have to keep fighting, because that is what we have to do as a means of telling, and of revenging, and of course appeasing the spirits of our people who were killed during the Massacre, the spirits of our people who were destroyed during the Asaba Massacre, the spirits of our people who were killed. Join me as we navigate this time. Now we're going to be looking at the video so that you can see the details. Remember, we were talking about this yesterday. We also talked about this 2 days ago. We're looking at the horror. Now I'm going to play this video again from top to where we stopped yesterday, so that we can continue from where we stopped yesterday and then go on in this matter. Join me now as I play this video.
When that's something around 1 million people perished as a result of the actions of British and Russian and Nigerian federal governments.
Please don't mind the skipping. Just be patient. You're going to get it. It skips some, I don't know, the network signal makes it that way.
I don't know what does, but
I wish you'll be able to get it very appropriately so that we can actually do this thing well.
It was pretty.
Let's listen to this carefully. When we get to the part where we meet and we stopped yesterday, we continue the teaching from there and the analysis. Let's listen to this man.
It was.
Why the skipping?
The first of the genocidal.
It was the first of the genocidal war. And that's what he's trying to say.
Wars that a great part of God is close to a written God to the war in BIAFRA. That was totally wrong. And put you on.
Oh my God. This is horrible. These pictures are horrible. These pictures are horrible. The things that happen to our people, very, very horrible. Very, very horrible. Anybody who sees these things and still remain the same, something is wrong. Please, sorry for the skipping. Please, we have to manage it that way. I don't know, the network is not giving it really the flow that we actually require on this. I wish it explained well, but anyways, I just want to get to the place where we stopped yesterday so I can begin the analysis from there. I wish this thing would play well so that we can do this rightly today.
1 million Igbos, BIAFRANs, all British Commonwealth citizens. Died in the Nigeria-Biafra civil war.
If you remember,
Today, more than 30 years later, questions remain.
If you remember, I was telling you something that they actually regard us as Igbos. We have confirmed that. We confirmed that yesterday. If you want to know,
Was it genocide? Was it backed by
yesterday's broadcast? Yesterday, Tuesday, the 4th of October. You can refer to that broadcast. You'll see the details.
by the British government, willingly or unwillingly?
Let's listen to the analysis of this man too. Sorry about the skipping. Please just be patient with us.
If you have
He actually defined what genocide is.
population would say the whole population be white. And murdered without any pretension on these grounds. Ethnic or religious or economic grounds. So you have genocide.
So you see it. He actually explained what genocide is. When you have such happen on those grounds, then you are talking about genocide. This is religious, economic, political. I want us to get to the point where we stopped yesterday so we can continue from there. I want you to
The Nigeria-Biafra civil war was also the first media famine. For the
first media famine, where pictures of gruesome starvation.
first time we saw starving children in newspapers, in magazines and on television.
Well, it was very much sort of headline news for a long time.
Okay.
Opinion
This is
was
about the
very
place we stopped
divided,
yesterday.
as the treaty felt that the Igbos had a case and that Nigeria was badly governed.
Now, this is about the piece we stopped yesterday when the man was talking about the Igbos. Some people who felt that the Igbos have a case, and some other people.
Something happened to the Igbos.
Now, remember, I told you here that when you hear of the Igbos, because as Igbos are all Igbos in the first place before we came to
Nigeria should remain as it was unbounded.
He said the other people believe that Nigeria is this geographical location has decided I wanted to go, away.
Nigeria, the richest and most populous in Africa.
Now, I want to say
360,000, the same size.
The richest populace in Africa. When they talk about Nigeria being rich, they actually referring to Biafra, talking about the resources. and that is their target. The target is Biafra resources. So when they talk about wealth and riches, they are talking about resources. The reason why they came to invade the land of Biafra is because of the resources. We all know that. Factually, we have been able to confirm that. You can tell of that. We all can tell of that. You can confirm that of that, and that is what they actually want to sustain. We also play a particular video when we are closing by the closing time that shows one of these evil men, these terrorists, Asaba, when he was talking about subjugating the Igbos and keeping them, that the most important thing is Fulanis and their own operation. Concerned about the North, because they know they are in control of the North. So when they say the North, they actually mean the Fulani. With the term the North, they actually are referring to the Fulanis, because the Fulanis have defeated the Hausas, defeated all those tribes in the North. So they say the North, they actually refer to them, but they use the term the North to cover everything, to also cover the Hausas, the other people, so that you will always think that it's all about the North. Your mind will not go to the fact that it is actually Fulani's control, or Fulani control system. So they said here now that the riches, Nigeria is a rich country in Africa, but yet the wealth is coming from a small zone or small location, which is the Biafra location, and that is their target. That is their main focus. So now listen to this video. Listen to it to a point.
Britain, France, and Germany. 65 million people, 3 major tribes, houses in the north. Those Biafrans in the east. Some say rigged the odds against the Igbos from the beginning, even before independence.
Of course, we also knew that the elections in Thailand had everybody in the know that we had our boys in the north, our puppets, we put them in power. The people in the south, the nationalists.
Some say war was inevitable. The rest of Nigeria had always been jealous of the unity, the strength of the East, the way they had managed to march together to build a better future for themselves and their children. In 1966, the world's attention was focused on Eastern and a brutal Russian invasion of Czechoslovakia.
You hear that?
The Middle East, the continuing conflict between the Israelis and the Palestinians, Southeast Asia, the American war in Vietnam, and all its horrors. Throughout Nigeria, up to 30,000 Igbos were being attacked and brutally murdered because they were Igbos.
He said they were actually brutally murdered because they were Igbos. They were brutally murdered because they were Igbos. Did you hear that? The concept of the fact that they are Igbos is the reason why they decided to actually murder them. So the concept of the murdering, of killing of these people, were because they were Igbos. Now listen to it.
To the international community, it was just another African conflict.
Now, if you listen to this carefully, you discover something. They said that to the international community, it was just another African conflict, because they were distracted in Israel, in Syria, in all those places where they were for Vietnam. America was in Vietnam. Israel was busy with the Palestinian issue and all of that, and all these countries were at war, and they were not interested in what was happening to us. Everybody was interested in the issue of what was going on. And they said this conflict, the issue of and the attack by Nigeria was just one of those West African West African conflicts that they don't need to bother about. They don't need to get interested in. They need to get involved in. It was just one of their issues. It is not a priority. I'm going to play a particular video that tells you something about these facts. Now listen to this video. I want you to listen to it here, so that you will understand how these things work and how they value and cherish it, and how they take these things that happen to us, so that you will know what is going on. And if you look at this video particularly, you will see it will give you an impression of how they view these things. Look at it.
gotten a lot of attention on Twitter. A lot of people are saying, wait, where's the outrage of for what's going on in Nigeria? We saw 4 million people marching in the streets of Paris. We saw world leaders gathering there to sort of stand in solidarity with Paris. Where are those calls for the same kind of justice for the people of Nigeria? Help us understand the difference here and maybe why we're not hearing the same level of outrage. Or is there a reason?
Yeah, good morning, Michaela. Yeah, the issue is, the stark difference, isn't it? World leaders, very prominent, linking arms, walking the Champs-Élysées, complete solidarity against this and outrage against what happened in Paris, vis-a-vis what we see in Nigeria, which is truly not, it should not be surprising. Look, what's happening in Nigeria is barbarous. It's horrible. I mean, it's complete madness, yet it's not a priority. The United States unilaterally could do almost anything it needs to do. It would be a long-term effort, but it could be done. And the United States has the capability. All the elements of power, we have those.
So why not?
Complete. It's not a priority. That's the problem. We are committed elsewhere in the world. Black West Africa is not a priority. Very stark, very hard to say, but that's the case right now.
Now, does this make sense to you in relation to what this video actually was portrayed here? They said to the international community, from that video I played initially, the one with about BIAFRA Massacre, to the international community, it was just one of those West African conflicts. Now, this video, this interview here, yes, on CNN, actually portrays it better to you. They said, yes, the issues, the things that are going on in Nigeria is very brutal, very gruesome, very evil, but it is not a priority. The United States have every capability, everything it takes to be able to deal with it, but it is not a priority. That is what you're trying to say. Sorry for that noise that you are hearing, please. Some people are just doing some construction over at the other side of the building, and the window where I am is directly at that place, facing that part of the fence. So please, sorry for that noise. Now, they said it is not a priority. Now, listen to this man. Listen to this other video I'm going to play right now so that you get the point very well. Listen.
One thing I've noticed, Premier, while I've been here, is that Northerners seem to have, I might almost call it obsession about the Igbos. Could you perhaps explain that to me?
Well, the Igbos are more or less the type of people whose desire is mainly to dominate everybody. If they go to a village, to a town, they want to monopolize everything in that area. If you put them in a labor camp as a laborer, within a year they will try to emerge as headman of that camp, and so on. Well, in the past, our people were not alive to their responsibilities, because you can see from our northernization policy that in 1952, when I came here, there weren't 10 northerners in our civil service here. Then I tried to have it northernized, and now all important posts are being held by northerners.
Is this policy of filling all key posts in the north solely with northerners and not with other Nigerians a temporary or a permanent one?
In actual fact, what it is a northerner first. If you can't get a northerner, then we take an expatriate like yourself on contract. If we can't, then we can employ another Nigerian, but on contract too. This is going to be permanent, I should say, as far as I can foresee, because it will be rather dangerous to see the number of boys who are now turning from all our learning institutions, coming out with having no work to do. I'm sure whichever government of the day might be, it will feel rather embarrassed, and it might even lead to bloodshed.
Doesn't this damage the idea, sir, of all people in all regions in Nigeria being fellow citizens of one country?
Well, it might, but you are, new to our region, but how many northerners are employed in the east or in the west? The answer is no. And if there are, there may be 10 laborers employed only in the two regions.
Now, I don't know whether you listen to this man very well in what he's saying, his expression, and everything that has to do with it. He expressed the totality of disdain for the Igbos. Now remember, we said when we talk about the Igbos, we're talking about you. whether you are Ijaw, whether you are Akwa Ibom, whether you are, no matter where you are from. So we have settled that. In part 2 of this broadcast, you go there, you listen to it. Yesterday's broadcast, you see, you get the details. Now, if you observe that strongly, what they are concerned about it, if you listen to that video I just played right now, you see that they were talking about taking preeminence or taking control of every sensitive thing that would displace the Igbos from being economically strong and politically strong. Their target is to deal with you economically and politically, so that they will put you where you belong, where they think that you belong. This is one of the things that led to the massacre, the killings of Biafrans without any repentance, without any remorse, without any feelings, without any, they killed without looking back. And these are the reasons why today we're concentrating. We want to get our people to understand why we have to employ the concept of sit at home to honor these people who were killed. Because if you begin to look at the details of everything that happened during the war, you will discover that so many things went so much against our people. And our people were defeated based on the fact that the evil was from the international community. Britain presided over this thing. They brought Russia into it. They brought Egypt into it. They brought other countries into it who supplied them weapons. At a point, America had to stop supplying weapons because when they saw the gruesome and evil going on, they had to stop. And these things are very, 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 very crucial. Welcome. Yes, Mrs. Maureen Haynes, you're welcome. You said something. You said Africa is not a priority. Yes, that's what they said. They said it's not a priority. We're not the priority. And if you listen to that video also I played, they said we actually are not. It was one of those wars. They saw it as one of those wars, so they didn't want to intervene. They didn't want to intervene. You said, I hate to see this video. Of course, we have to see it. You have to see the video so that we'll be able to tell ourselves the truth. Because if we don't tell ourselves the truth by these things, we will not be able to actually take actions that should. Remember, I told us yesterday, I said, the only way you can actually appropriate an action to get results is when you understand the basic concept or the fact of the truth, that the truth about what you are trying to achieve. If you don't find out the fact about your fundamental expectation or your fundamental approach, you will not be able to design a concept on that platform or that pedestrian of your understanding to be able to do what you have to do rightly. So these are the facts. They say we are not a priority. Who then makes you a priority? That's the big question. If the international community says you're not a priority, are you going to sit back and accept that you're not a priority? Are you going to sit back and allow them to take you for granted? No, you're not going to sit back to allow them to take you for granted. What you need to do is to take action. Now listen to this video. I'm going to play it again so you can go on and listen and get the facts. Just listen to the facts here so you can get to know the things that are happening. When I play it, I
didn't want to get involved. There's no concern of theirs.
Okay, this video is keeping here.
They looked the other way.
I'm going to play it. Don't worry, I'm going to play it from top. I'm going to download it on another side, and I'm going to play it from that point. It's going to play very well, just like these other videos I've been playing. So just take it now. I'm going to play in the next 1 or so minutes. I'm going to play it. Now, what I want you to understand here is this: we must understand how we are viewed and seen in the international community. You are seen as a product for exploitation. That is why Nigeria is a business. Now I'm going to play this video to this point where we stop now. I'm going to play it from top. So listen carefully so you can get the details from here now. Watch it, please.
When you look at the facts that something around 1 million people perished as a result of the actions of the British and Russian and Nigerian federal governments. I don't know what one does call it, but it was pretty close to genocide.
He said there. Did you hear what he said there? He said when you look at this thing critically and analyze it and all of that, he was trying to manage his words. He now said it was pretty close to genocide, but we all know that it's genocide. Now listen to it.
When you look when you look at the facts, that something around 1 million people perished as a result of the actions of the British and Russian and Nigerian federal governments. I don't know what one does call it, but it was pretty close to genocide.
It was the first of the genocidal wars that a great power got as close to as Britain got to the war in Biafra.
And that was totally wrong.
And that was wrong.
Over 1 million Igbos, Biafrans, all British Commonwealth citizens, died in the Nigeria-Biafra civil war. Today, more than 30 years later, questions remain. Was it genocide? Was it backed by the British government, willingly or unwillingly?
If you have part of the population, or as I say, the whole population being wiped out and murdered without any protection on these grounds, ethnic or religious or economic grounds and so on, you have genocide.
The Nigeria-Biafra civil war was also the first media famine. For the first time we saw starving children in newspapers, in magazines and on television.
Well, it was very much the sort of headline news in the papers here for a long time, and opinion was greatly divided as between those who felt that that the Igbos had a case and that Nigeria was badly governed and that it was time that something happened and that the Igbos were good people who deserved to be, and others who felt that Nigeria should remain as it was and the boundaries should remain, and if you fiddled about with the boundaries you were going to be in real difficulty, and it was a very bad precedent for other parts of Africa.
Nigeria, the richest and most populous nation in Africa. 360,000 square miles, the same size as Britain, France and Germany. 65 million people, 3 major tribes, Hausas in the north, Yorubas in the west, Igbos, Biafrans in the east. Some say the British rigged the odds against the Igbos from the beginning, from even before independence.
Of course, we also knew that the elections by 1960 had been rigged. Everybody in the know knew that we had our boys in the north, our puppets, we'd put them in power. They hadn't won at all. The people in the south had won, the nationalists.
Some say war was inevitable. The rest of Nigeria had always been jealous of the unity, the strength of the Igbos, the way they had managed to march together to build a better future for themselves and their children. In 1966, the world's attention was focused on Eastern Europe and the brutal Russian invasion of Czechoslovakia. The Middle East, the continuing conflict between the Israelis and the Palestinians, Southeast Asia, the American war in Vietnam and all its horrors. But throughout Nigeria, up to 30,000 Igbos were being attacked and brutally murdered because they were Igbos.
It's those who want us to lose the war in Vietnam. It's militants, activists, revolutionaries, anarchists, and communists. That's who it is.
To the international community, it was just another African conflict. They didn't want to get involved. It was no concern of theirs. They looked the other way. They had other things on their plate.
I would say that there is a difference between when a man belonging to a rich country dies and when a man belonging to a poor country dies. Not necessarily black men, because you can have the same problem somewhere in Asia. No, I believe that the United Nations, the international community, is still dominated by a very Europocentric attitude.
Tuesday, May 30, 1967. Enough was enough. The Igbos, alone, isolated, ignored, declared their independence. Their leader was Lieutenant Colonel Ojukwu. The supreme commander and head of the military regime in Nigeria was Lieutenant Colonel Gowan. Both men had been educated and trained in Britain. The war that followed was one of the longest, bloodiest and most disastrously fought civil wars in history. In just 3 years they used more small arms ammunition than was used by British forces during the whole of the Second World War. The casualties were horrifying. The war was also unlike any other civil war in modern history. The Nigerian government, backed by the British, regularly and deliberately strafed and bombed civilian targets.
I saw 10 deliberate bombing attacks on the civilian population, either hospitals or marketplaces, and with no question of any military target being in the vicinity.
At precisely 1:30 every day, they come over the town as the marketplace is full, as patients are sitting out on the lawns at hospitals. Here comes the next one. He's just above the mission there.
I looked up and I heard the explosion. The convent was still there, but then towards the school there was a cloud of smoke rising up to the sky.
The children's ward was the worst. Children's ward got a rocket right through the roof. There was a mother and child killed in bed, and another child was killed in another ward, and another child was cut in half up behind the kitchen.
Why it was deliberate, they finished an operation, the next 3 hours they come back again. So you could see that kind of thing for 3 days or 4 days.
Even more horrifying, the Nigerian government deliberately used famine as a weapon of war. The name Harold Wilson became a curse. Starvation was known as the Harold Wilson syndrome. Many people, young and old, rich and poor, went to Biafra to help the starving and the dying. One of the youngest, the most famous, the most glamorous was Princess Cecile de Bourbon-Parma, sister to one of the pretenders to the Spanish throne. She told a committee of the US Senate what she saw. On the committee was Senator Edward Kennedy.
I told him how I have been going out of the Biafra, and that one of the last nights I was with the children and the plane was not coming. And we were very anxious, and I had in my arms a little girl of, I don't know, 10 years old. And she was very anxious herself to see if the plane would come and save her. And finally we hear the motor's engine, the plane is coming. She looked at me, she smiled, and she died. And I looked at Senator Edward Kennedy, and I saw he was crying.
Biafra made aid organisations throughout the world what they are today. It enabled them to develop and perfect their emergency feeding and rescue skills that have since then saved millions of lives around the world.
It was the school of humanitarian action, BIAFRA, so I think it was the beginning of a new concept of wars and of the relation between humanitarian personnel, armies and the media.
Questions remain unanswered. Was it genocide? Was the bombing and strafing of civilians? Was the deliberate mass starvation of innocent men, women and children backed by the British government, willingly or unwillingly?
Now, I decided to allow that video play from top to the end so that you can understand the narrative based on the fact that it was skipping, you know. So, so that when we begin to play the part where we need to analyze one after the other, you will not bother about the skipping. Now, the video is so heart-wrenching that you begin to wonder how evil people could be. Now, this man that is on the screen now that you can see, he said something critical. He said, you see, there's a difference between when the rich dies and when the poor dies. The people of West Africa or the Nigerians who are qualified as the poor, because internationally they have not been able to prove that they are rich. In spite of everything that we have, we're not able to prove that we are rich. And so what Britain wants to do is to keep us in that situation where we cannot approve or prove that we are rich. Because the only way you can prove that you are rich is to utilize the things that you have and to exude the strength and the capacities that you have to do what you have to do. That is why they fought against us. Now, if you listen to the man clearly, you will see what he said. He said the poor dies, there's a different approach. The rich dies, there's a different approach. The world looked elsewhere. According to the narrative, the world looked elsewhere. It wasn't their business. It wasn't their priority. You saw the other video I played now. It said, it's not their priority. Let me play it again so you can see it again, so you can understand what I'm saying. I'll play that video so you can understand it very critically to know what we as Africans are going through, so that you will know that this fight for freedom is as important as your life, because there's no value for your life without your reputation. There's no value for your life. The only thing that gives value to anybody's life is reputation. If you lose your reputation, you will be messed up, you'll be disgraced, and you'll just live a wretched life. Listen to it again, where it was said on CNN that Nigeria is not a priority. The killings, all of that are dangerous, are serious, are very heartbreaking, but it is not a priority because there's some other important things that they are concerned with. So why is it that some of you cannot actually do what you have to do by yourself? Now listen to this video. Listen to it.
A lot of attention on Twitter. A lot of people are saying, wait, where's the outrage of for what's going on in Nigeria? We saw 4 million people marching in the streets of Paris. We saw world leaders gathering there to sort of stand in solidarity with Paris. Where are those calls for the same kind of justice for the people of Nigeria? Help us understand the difference here and maybe why we're not hearing the same level of outrage. Or is there a reason?
Yeah, good morning, Michaela. Yeah, the issue is, you know, the stark difference, isn't it? World leaders, very prominent, linking arms, walking the Champs-Elysees, complete solidarity against this and outrage against what happened in Paris, vis-a-vis what we see in Nigeria, which is truly not, it should not be surprising. Look, what's happening in Nigeria is barbarous. It's horrible. I mean, it's complete madness. Yet it's not a priority. The United States unilaterally could do almost anything it needs to do. It would be a long-term effort, but it could be done. And the United States has the capability. All the elements of power, we have those.
So why not?
It's not a priority. That's the problem. We are committed elsewhere in the world. Black West Africa is not a priority. Very stark, very hard to say, but that's the case right now.
West Africa is not the priority. That is the case. It's very hard to say, but we have to say it. It's not a priority. You don't have value even if you are living in Britain, even if you are living in US, even if you are living in Italy, Bosnia, wherever you are living. You don't have value because you are not a priority to them. We are not a priority to them. That's what he said. I want to welcome all of you. I want to appreciate you. Those of you who have joined me, Uche, Godfrey, thank you so much for joining. Of course, thank you for your post. And Frank Nweke, yes, you're always here as Uche, Godfrey too. Thank you so much for joining me. Now, this is very important for us to know because they said we are not a priority. So we have to understand this fact that to make ourselves a priority, we must give value to who we are. It is only freedom that gives you the opportunity to have value. That is why the killings that happened to us, we're working out this period to make sure that we celebrate our victory through conquering Nigeria. Because the only way we can do that is to conquer Nigeria.
They have other things on their plate.
I will say that there is
the international community have other things in their plates. Let me take it back again so that you can listen to it. Listen to it.
When men belong.
Listen to it.
To the international community, it was just another African conflict.
To the international community, it was just another African conflict. It is just one of those things that happen in Africa. It is not something of value to us. How much more do you need them to tell you that you don't have value? So when you are talking about election, when you are fighting to vote one candidate, you are actually being laughed at, being mocked at. They just look at you and say, this person is senseless. They look at you and they say, this person does not even know what he has. Because they know your roots. They know that's why they call you Igbos. Because Igbos are fundamentally people who are dreaded. There's this fear of Igbos because they know your source. They know where you come from. They know that you are Jewish and you are connected to the people of abundance. They know who you are. So they now say that if we allow these people to know who they are, definitely we will suffer the consequences. So what we need to do is to make them see themselves as nothing. They tell you, they put your eyes and concentration on election. You heard Blinken telling us that there must be free and credible election, indirectly telling everybody that you must go for the election. He knows that we are talking about freedom. He knows we are talking about we want to be free. Yet he came up to say Nigeria should conduct a credible, fair and free election. Now the question is, how can you have a credible result from a flawed examination? For instance, you come to an examination hall, the papers have leaked, the invigilators are corrupt, they're collecting money from people to give them answers to write, and you say you want a credible result. How is it possible? How is it possible to have a credible result from a flawed system? So if you talk about credibility, I don't know how these wicked people are. Honestly, when you imagine them, when you imagine what they say, what they do, you'll be able to understand how evil these people are. How can Blinken come out to talk about a credible election, psychologically wanting to pass a message to everybody? It is good, just go for election. That's what he's trying to do. The same way, just like Mazi Samanekwa said, the same way Obama did. When it came to the time, Jonathan and Buhari's time, they were just playing the games. Obama came into the north, and all where he went was in the north to go and pay his homage and to approve of their authority and control and power. To approve, anytime they come, they go to the north because that's where Britain gave the power. So they have to go to the source of power and ask them what is going on and how they are maintaining the power, how they are keeping the power going. They have to make them understand all of this. That is why you must change the narrative. Intelligent people, those who claim to be intelligent, must know how to use intelligence. If you say you are smart as a Biafran, you are intelligent, then you must be up to the task of utilizing your intelligence appropriately to gain wisdom. Because most of the actions we are taking actually is endorsing foolishness. That is why we must take the action now, and we're going to stop this election. We're going to come all out. Friday, 7th of October, we're going to have the total lockdown of Biafra land. We're going to be locking down the land. We're going to lock down Biafra land to remember, to tell the international community, we know what you did to our people. You can imagine what they said here. It is not a priority. The same way I played in that video. They said West Africa wasn't a priority. Listen to it again. Listen to it again. Listen. Please just listen.
They didn't want to get involved. There was no concern of theirs.
They didn't want to get involved. It was not concern of theirs. Now, this person saying this thing is somebody who knows the system. No, but they didn't want to get involved in the matter. It was just one of those Africa. This was said by this same man, this man that is this ex-secretary general of the of UN. Bustrogali. Some of you know him. Sorry, Boutros Ghali. Sorry, not Boutros. Sorry, Boutros Ghali. His name was very, very, in the lips of everybody. Boutros Ghali, very, very important and very, very popular person. He said that the rich and poor, there's a difference when the poor and the rich dies. The killing of West Africans was just one of those deaths so unimportant to them. So why would people tag you as not important, and you will accept that fact that you are not important and keep endorsing what they present to you? Even if it is juju, it should clear your eyes. We must end this impunity. We must end this impunity. Listen. Listen.
They looked the other way. They had other things on their plate.
They looked the other way. The international community looked the other way. They had other things in their plate. Oh, I don't know why. I don't know how our people need to know this. Because when you look at these people who are sabotaging what we're doing, when you look at these people who are clamoring for one Nigeria, when you look at these people who are talking about election, you begin to wonder, is it that our people are too daft, or the witchcraft, has actually taken over them, so that they don't even know what is their rights and their privileges, so that they don't even want anything good for themselves? How can people be so evil that they are evil to themselves? How can somebody be seeking for something that is killing them? Somebody is killing you, you still want to maintain that. It is disheartening. This video says that the international community looked elsewhere. They had other things in their plate. Yet when you tell our people to stand strong, just like what Mazi Samanepa is doing now, when you tell our people to stand strong, they will tell you that they will tell you that it is better for us to hold on to election. When you tell them to join forces, let's get free. They tell you, no, let's go for election. Let's when we get one of us to go for. How can you put anybody on a flawed background and think that you're going to get a great result? You build a structure, you want to build a house, you now get a fundamentally flawed foundation, and you expect that that house is going to stand strong. You are just being very foolish. And we have Mazi Gaddafi here, right here with us. Mazi Gaddafi, you're welcome, sir. You're welcome to this live broadcast. We're actually analyzing this issue, this talk about the massacre, of course, the Asaba massacre and the totality of the Biafra massacre. And of course, we want to look at other massacres and other killings, and we're going to be analyzing them here. Please, I want you to greet Biafrans and say hi to them, please.
Thank you, Biafran people. I hope everyone is coming out, right?
Yes, you're coming out, right?
Okay. I thank Biafran people for listening to us. Your brother Gaddafi. Your brother Gaddafi.
Your audio is breaking. I don't know. Yes, your audio is breaking. So if you can refresh it so that they can hear you clearly. Please go on. Let's see what it's.
Is it now? Is it better?
It's still breaking. It's still breaking. I don't think Biafrans will be getting it. Well.
Okay, let's come back.
Okay. Please, we're expecting you. Yeah. So, sorry for that. The audio is actually breaking. He's going to come in soon because we're supposed to discuss something critical, especially the issue of Obibo. That killing, the Obibo killing, and all of that. We are going to discuss that killing and the shenanigans of Bruce Fein coming up with that concept of taking the case to international committee, and of course lawyers now saying that it's done and dusted. We have to understand all of these things so that because we know the games that are going on, and we will not allow anybody to take Biafra group for granted. These Americans too are evil. You can hear what they said. They said it's not a priority. Whatever is happening to Biafra, it's not a priority. So even if you are longing to go to America and you're just going to serve them, the reason why they allow you there is because you're coming to work for them. They're coming to do the jobs that they would not likely want to do for themselves. There's the common jobs. That's what they give you. Even if you work yourself to the point where you go to school very well and you come into, you now come into the country and go through their school and all of that. Even if they give you a kind of prominent position, they still regard you as a second class. You can never get the full, the full attention that their citizens have. If you get a green paper and all of that, get all of those details, you are still a second class. They treat you as that. If you observe every black person or every dark-colored person, let me not say black because we're not blacks, they are using that as a means of saying we're evil. They say they are whites, we are black. How are they white? Their skin is not white. Their skin is only fair-colored. We are dark-colored. So if you're talking about white and black, that doesn't even come to the equation and all of that. So now you see, we see an evidence here, this man saying that it is not a priority. They looked elsewhere. Listen to the video, please.
I would say that there is a difference between when a man belonging to a rich country dies and when a man belonging to a poor country dies.
Now, did you hear what Boutros Ghali said? Did you hear what Boutros Ghali said, the former UN Secretary General? Did you hear what he said there? He said, I would say that there's a difference between when the rich from a rich country dies and when a poor man from a poor country dies. This is somebody who sits at the helm of affairs of the United Nations, who sat at the helm of affairs of the United Nations. He's telling you the reality of things that were playing out, the international politics, the international deceit, the international manipulation, the international diplomacy, the international sentiment. There's a difference between when the rich from a rich country, a man from a rich country dies and a man from a poor country dies. Who are they referring here? The man from the rich country is the Westerners, the European, the Americans, the Australians, the Chinese. Any man from the rich country that dies is a priority to them. Any man from a poor country that dies is not a priority, as you heard in that video initially. So their priority is dependent on which country you are from for them to give validation to your death or to your living. Massacre is here again. Let me bring him on. Massacre, please go on and greet Biafrans. Let's see. I hope it's working out right now. So please go on, please.
Hello, fellow Biafran.
It's still a problem. The sound is still poor. Please bear with us. I know that it's going to work. It's going to come in. Friday Peters, all must hail Biafra. We move. Yes, all must hail Biafra, and that is what we are doing. We all must hail Biafra, whether they are Americans, whether they are British, whether they are UK, wherever they are from, they must hail Biafra. And that is what we stand for. Now, you heard him, the Boutros Ghali, the former UN General Secretary, says that there's a difference between when a man from a rich country dies. When they talk about rich country, you know the people they're about. They're not talking about you, dark-colored skinned man from Africa. So now listen to him clearly and know, get more information, so that you will know what is happening. You know the politics that is playing out and the things that are happening to us, so that we can understand these things, because it's very important for us to understand these things.
Not necessarily black man, because you can have the same.
Did you hear that? This qualifies a black man.
Problem somewhere in Asia. I believe that the United Nations the international community is still dominated by a very Eurocentric attitude.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? He talks about the attitude of the United Nations. Their attitude is contrary, is anti-Africa. That is what they are trying to tell us. So if you don't take your action, by yourself, if you don't take the action by yourself, you are going to be killed, going to be maimed, you're going to be destroyed. Mas Gaddafi, you're welcome again. Let's try it. I hope that it's going to work well this time around. Please go on, please.
Hello, fellow Biafran.
Yes. Nice now. Wow.
I know.
Good. Yes, this is good. Wow. Okay, he's going to come back. I think the network is keeping him out. He's going to come back. So you hear that. Now listen to this. Listen to this. Listen to this.
Tuesday, May 30, 1967. Enough was enough. The Igbos alone, isolated, ignored.
Now, if you hear what the background voice was saying, he said that, and in July 1967, it was declared that enough is enough. Enough is enough. That means the Igbos decided. Now, when you hear them say Igbos, please understand they are talking about you, whether you are Ijaw or anything, because your origin is Igbo. I'm emphasizing on this so that it will sink into our minds. Sorry, because our people don't understand that their fundamental origin is key to the actions they can take to free themselves, the actions they can take as a people. When you understand the fundamental nature of who you are going to naturally do things right. You must understand the fundamental nature of who you are to be able to do anything right. So if you don't acknowledge that you are an Igbo, you will not walk towards your source. Everything you're going to do is going to work against you. Know it now. You are from the race, the Igbo race. But you are Ijaw. And being Ijaw, you are Biafran. So as a national identity, you are Biafran. But as from your race, you are an Igbo. So by race, you are Igbo. By national identity, you are Biafra. By race, you are Igbo. By national identity, you are Biafra. Whether you are Ijaw, whether you are anything, whatever you are Igbo. That is why they are addressing you as Igbo here. Mas Gaddafi, please go on.
Yeah, what our people don't understand is that when they talk about Biafra, it is Old Eastern region. Old Eastern region. There's nothing like Ijaw, Calabar, Efik, Igbo, this and that and that. No. If you can see that the Asaba massacre was done to annihilate Igbo people, to wipe away a race, to wipe away Biafra, not really for Igbo. Because if it was just for Igbo, I don't think what they did in Asaba, they would have done it. Because present day, that Asaba is still to be on the coastal region. So there is no segregation, neither you are Igbo, you are Efik, you are Calabar. Aboki sees you as the Old Eastern region, and that's who we are, and we are Biafran. So that is it. The Asaba massacre is part of the thing that we're still going through now. Even now, we're still going through this massacre. You can see on Olo, the massacre that was going on. To the extent they burned down marketplaces. If you go to Udi, Obasanjo Udi, you will not say it's because Udi people were called Igbo. They were killed because they were all Biafran. You can still remember Udi massacre. Exactly the things that happened in Asaba. They repeated it in Udi. They repeated it in Nkwo Junction. They repeated it in Ngwa National High School. They repeated it in Trump celebration election. They also repeated it in Obibo. You understand? So these are all massacres that we all have been going through. They did not kill people in Obibo because they were only Igbos. They kill you because you are from the Old Eastern region. So when we remember Asaba massacre,
that leads me to something that I want us to talk about, because this one has actually become an evidence of what that they are now using as a means of political, jingoism and jamboree, and that is the issue of Obibo. Now, remember that Wike actually killed so many people. One of those massacres, just like what happened in Asaba, which of course is part of why we are locking down Biafra land on Friday, on the 7th of this Friday coming, 7th of October. These other massacres too are part of we are using Asaba as a front to showcase other massacres, because every massacre to us is very important. Now, but we know that the one of Obibo has been politicized, because Wike now is involved. And then, of course, Bruce Fein coming in, picking that particular massacre as a means. Now, please, can you, what do you think about that? Bruce Fein now coming to tell us that, and of course, the lawyers coming to tell us that it's been dusted, it is down, that Bruce Fein has taken the international committee. They didn't talk about Olu, they didn't talk about others, even the ones, they didn't even talk about Umpo that happened. They didn't talk about all those ones, they specifically talked about.
You know what?
Yes.
What I want to say is that I wish you can open a phone line that the Biafran people will contribute. Can you open up a phone line?
Let me do that. I think I can do that. Let me do that. So that
please do.
Calling. Yes.
Because there's something I want to say that is very, very significant. That is truth. We have a Akam brain and people that has milk inside their skull that they thought is a brain, which is not. Now, I hope you are, and you can post the number people will call you.
I'll put the number there. If you are there, if you want to call in and make your contributions to this, you can make your calls through that number on WhatsApp.
I want to ask the Biafran people, I want to ask them one question. There was Mpo massacre. There were Ngwa High School massacre. There were Asaba massacre. There were Olo currently ongoing Olo massacre. There were many ongoing massacre. Why did Bruce Fein point out Obibo massacre to take to International Criminal Court of Justice? You know why? Okay. Now we all can establish that Bruce's lawyer,
yes,
Bruce's close friend, and this accusation.
So, hold on before you go on. Bruce Fein is Atiku's close friend. That means this is political.
Yes, it is political. Okay. Let me give you the deep analysis about this issue. Bruce Fein is Atiku's lawyer and also Atiku's close allied and also Atiku's friend. And Bruce Fein has never come one day to speak against that he doesn't know Atiku. He has nothing to do with Atiku. But the Obibo Criminal Court of Justice saga confirmed that indeed Bruce Fein is not working for Biafra, he's just working for Atiku. One, I ask you, why now? Is there no other massacre that Bruce Fein should take to International Criminal Court of Justice? I begin to ask questions. Does it mean that there is no other killings that are going on in Biafra land that Bruce Fein should not take, is not taken to International Criminal Court of Justice? I begin to ask, why now? You now understand that it is because Atiku and Nyesom Wike is having problems. They are having loggerhead. That is why Ejimako, our lawyer, who's supposed to know better, is celebrating that political jamboree. Now, I begin to ask you, for over 2 years, the Obibo massacre happened. Why taking this matter to International Criminal Court of Justice? Why now that Atiku and the Nyesom Wike is having problems? So, if Nyesom Wike and Atiku were not having problems, the dead in Obibo will not get justice. So, if Nyesom Wike and Atiku were not having problems, Obibo massacre will not be remembered. I want the Biafran people to ask Bruce Fein this question. Now, because Wike and Atiku is having problems. Now, Bruce Wayne has gone to Atiku to collect some cash as a businessman he is. To say, I know how to distract Nyesom Wike. Let me use this case to distract him. Now, Bruce Wayne, as a two-edged sword, we come to Bridget and their group and said, I want you to critically, Bruce Wayne is not working for Biafra. The Obibo massacre issue in International Criminal Court of Justice is not for Biafra, neither for the glory, neither for the dead get justice. No, it is a political jamboree where they want to distract Nyesom Wike, where they want to say, okay, and now that you have mouth to talk, let us engage you in International Criminal Court of Justice. By the time you are answering that case, you will allow Atiku to do what he's doing. That is what
that means it is actually one of their games in their political shenanigans that is going on right now, to try to see how they can outplay the other person who actually thinks that the other person is against him politically. He will have to, outshine the other person, and of course, try to downplay the other person to be able to have a political edge based on their election. Even if we have said that we are not conducting any election, Biafra, it's not our business anyways, but we are trying to analyze this now in the context of what they are trying to play, the games they're trying to play. Now, you made a point. You said Bruce Wayne would have gotten some money from Atiku, who is his major sponsor, of course, as his lawyer. I concord to that because I want to relate it to the fact that if you remember one time, Bruce Wayne had to post on the platform when he saw that money was no more coming to him. He was telling Biafrans now to pay into the account, into a particular account they gave to him. So how do you relate these two now?
What I want to say is that Biafran people are very smart. We are not dummies. That is why we can look into that done and dusted Bruce Wayne file case, the Obibo massacre. Now, Biafran people should be asking this question. Why can't the same Bruce Wayne file a case against Hopos Odema for bringing military to burn down markets, to burn down buildings? They are all internet. Everybody can see that it is against the rule of engagement for military gunship to go to civilian domain to start shooting. So that is a war crime. That is a crime itself. So you can see that Bruce Wayne are not saying those things. That should tell you that Bruce Wayne is working for Atiku. That is why he works himself into the struggle to report back to Zoo government. I am categorically, Gaddafi of Biafra is categorically accusing Bruce Wayne that we have gotten his tricks is a double-edged sword. Why single out Obibo massacre? And when there is ongoing massacre in Imo State, why?
So it simply means yes, because yes, it's very important. At least we need to reason. Why single out Obibo when there are other massacres, and you are particular about this one that concerns a man who is against your client, Atiku. This calls us to the point of reasoning, and we have to think very deeply. Why do you choose? Hopos Odema is not a threat to Atiku, and of course, so doesn't need to talk about that. But Wike is a threat politically to Atiku, so he now decides to pick that case, and then they now went further to say it's now done and dusted. Why did it take this long to be done and dusted?
This incident occurred over almost 2 years or above 2 years now.
Yes.
Now, how come? I begin to ask myself. That means if Atiku and Nyesom Wike were still in good time, maybe Atiku picked Nyesom Wike as his running mate as president. That means there will be nothing like Obibo massacre. That means the crime would have committed free of charge. Nobody should question. Nobody should call to answer for it. The dead will not get justice. The displaced people that lost their properties They have nothing to, no justice for them. Why is it now that yes, some weekend Atiku is having problems? Now you ask yourself,
okay,
who is Bruce Finn working for?
Yes.
Simple questions we need to ask. We the Biafran people. Autopilot media personnel, we are not dummies. We critically analyze things, issues. We don't swallow them because we don't do saga. We look into things. Likewise, as we are planted our men into the first headquarter WhatsApp group.
Hello, are you there? It seems the network is stuck over there. I can see the signal here from your side. It seems the network is stuck over there. Please, when you come on, we would like to do that. Yes, we have our men everywhere. Our men are everywhere on all WhatsApp group of the Nigeria force groups, the DSS, their whatever they have, their WhatsApp group. We can categorically say that we are strongly there, and so they should know that we know every evil they are planning against our people, and we are ready to counter it because we are determined to take our freedom. We're not joking with every action that that will help us to get all information from the camp of the enemy. If you remember in the Bible, there's something that happened to Gideon. You know, at a point in time, Gideon was afraid. You know, Gideon was afraid to go to war, and God made him to go to the enemy's camp to go and hear and get information from the enemy. So the only why we know God is with us, because God has given us this ability, and God is with us, is because we are able to go to the enemy's camp and get information. That is the grace and gift that God has given to us. So, okay, Massacre, please go on. Your thoughts there. You actually had to go off because of the network signal. So please can go on from there and air your thoughts to us. Massacre, are you there? Okay, when it comes on, as soon as he is able to reconnect, he's going to join us on that. I want you to understand something, that this fight is a fight to finish. We are ready to finish this battle because we are certain that we have to get our victory. Our victory is so important to us. Nothing is as important as victory. Nothing is as important as victory to us. So if you think that we are here and we're just here to, okay, Massacre, you are here. Okay, I saw a particular channel. Channel 3. I don't know who is Channel 3. We have one channel 3 here. I don't know why it's you, Massacre. Are you the one on Channel 3 too?
Remove some. I don't know what is going on.
Okay, because I've seen one Channel 3. Okay, let me remove that one. Channel 3. So, or is there any other person at that Channel 3? In case you, let me just see if somebody is there. Hello, is there anyone on Channel 3? So I can identify who is there.
Remove the one that doesn't have my.
Okay, let me mute it. So, Master, if you go on with that thought, you were talking about having our men, you know, on ground everywhere the Nigeria agents are.
Can you hear me now?
Very well, loud and clear. Please go on.
Hello?
Loud and clear.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Go on.
Okay. Good.
Yes.
So, like what I was trying to explain, I begin to ask, why now? Why now? Why now? Why will this friend single out only Obibo massacre when there is ongoing killings in Imo State, in Anambra State, in Abia State, in everywhere? So I want to ask Biafran people, who do they think that Bruce Wayne is working for? And that his political jamboree about Obibo massacre, is he worth to be celebrated? That means if Atiku and Wike settle their scores, then the Obibo massacre issue will die down.
So, Massacre here. The truth is this, that it is not about the death, those who are dead. It is not about how important the death of this people is. It is about the interest, the political interest, in which they are going to use this as a means of playing their political game. So they are using the lives of Biafrans to play political game.
Okay. Now, the Biafran people can now see that Bruce Wayne is not working for Biafra struggle. To those who is bringing Bruce Wayne into the struggle, the Bible says those that worship a graven image, they look like them.
Yes.
So whosoever that is working Bruce Wayne is like Bruce Wayne. Okay. Whosoever that are celebrating that Bruce Wayne has achieved a milestone achievement and trying to get justice for the dead at Ovibo, they should know that that is not for that is out of the way. That is not the main purpose. The main purpose was just to distract Wike, or just to make Wike to be answering, to be demoralized or destabilized, so that our people will go on and reach his election that they are already rigging. And one thing you must understand as well is that when we say there is no election, there will be no election in Biafra land. Let me tell you one point. It will scatter their purpose. It will scatter their plan, because they've already reached 2023 election. They've already know the figure that the whole Southeast will produce. They already know the figure that South will produce, the coastal region. So when we say there will be no election in this region, we've already scattered their program, because they've already programmed the result of this their useless election. So that is why you see that they are doing everything they could do to make sure the election was good. And let me tell you another thing they want to do. This is another intel we get from the military force headquarters. Like I was trying to let the Biafran people know that we the team, we the autopiloters, we station our men in every junction, because we are not joking. I hope the Biafran people are hearing my voice. We are not joking. This was their plan. Like their last discussion, their current discussion was that they want to do the presidential election 2 times. As in, they will do it this week and they run it next week in another area. They want to conduct the election, the Oduduwa land, they call not, then they will now say there is no election. After they've done the election that side, the results will not come out. They will now move their military arsenal to see if they could support to hold that election. Now the first time, they want to hold their election on Oduduwa land, northern north. When they vote that, you know that they say this is a by-election. You understand? By-election. Like there's a place, a candidate, for instance, field, they rerun that election. There will be a rerun in Biafra land. That is their plan now. But not knowing that there is no amount of gunship, no amount of jet bomber, no amount of intimidation, no amount of military hardware, no amount of the arsenal that can stop us. Well, election. If they like, let them hold it state by state. This state today, next tomorrow another state. It will not happen like that in Biafra land. So these are the things that they are working everywhere. Anything they see at the area, they do all they can to go against that person. That's why you see, when they notice that Wike has become their barrier, they now use through Bruce Wayne to now raise up this ICC case against Wike. Not that I'm supporting Wike, I don't support Wike, neither do I support what Wike is doing. But the fact is the critical analysis of their action. That's why we're trying to bring to Biafran people, for them to see the point that these people are coming from.
Okay, so that it was actually a political, politicizing the death of Biafrans. Now, this also opens us to the point that in all these years, all the things we have been seeing, the games we have been seeing, is actually that these people actually don't value the Biafran people who have died. They are not concerned about it. All they're interested in is to use it as a means of scoring political points. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, that is what I'm trying to say. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly. Go on.
That is what we are saying, not just trying to say that is the fact. Okay. Now, let me ask you. Today we are remembering Asaba Massacre, right?
Yes.
Which government has been held responsible for that Asaba Massacre? During the Biafran War, Biafran British War, during the time of Biafran British War, bomb was thrown in the market. From the history of what my father told me, they throw bomb in a market called Uzabam. Uzabam is a market that is in the Bend, one of the largest markets at that time in the Bend, Old Bend now. They throw bomb in that place. That is a war crime. Now the air, land, and sea blockade is a war crime. Are you telling me that there is no Bruce Wayne that will bring the knowledge, the sense, as in to bring that thing to the world? Are you telling me there is no Bruce Wayne that's supposed to? This is what the genocide. Are you telling me that Bruce Wayne doesn't have rights to do all those things? Are you telling me that the air, land, and sea blockade, starvation, that claim almost 10 million Biafran, who has brought up this case against Britain, against Gowon? Gowon is still alive. Are you telling me that you can do things and get away with it, that nobody call you to question? Nobody call you to hold you responsible? When have the Northerners apologized for the killings of the Biafran? Are you telling me that Bruce Wayne is not seeing this thing to file International Criminal Court of Justice? Is that what you're telling me? So who is suing? Why do you single out Obiana and Wike is having problem?
So you see, that means what we can deduce from this is that in this Biafra movement and agitation for freedom, there are lots of people that are suspects to us. In spite of the key role they play and the things they are doing, we have to be very conscious of the shenanigans and the manipulations that are going on. To what extent do you view the level of, sabotage and the level of, suspicion regarding this Biafra movement, especially from those people we should expect to be better, like
my brother
and all of that? Yes.
Yeah, my brother, you see, the level of sabotage of this our struggle is alarming. It's alarming rate. It's alarming. You know why I say so? If a lawyer who is being paid $80,000 per month can sabotage, because that is a sabotage. If a lawyer who is being given that amount, huge amount, converts $80,000 to Naira, we know how many millions every month that will pay.
Every month.
And still, our leader was rendition. He has been paying that amount before our leader,
before he was rendition. Extraordinarily rendition.
Extraordinary rendition.
Yes.
This extraordinary rendition, my brother, what has this guy done? Now, we begin to ask. Now, those people that are running around the cycle, following the same man, what can they say that is the achievement? Now, the rate of sabotage of this our struggle is at alarming rates. Can't you see DOS? People like Ikenga will come out in public that say the military who burned down our communities, Military who used GPNG was shooting direct to people's home is innocent. The military who killed us in Nkwa Junction, Ngwa High School, kill us Obibo, kill us in Asaba, kill us everywhere. They say they are innocent. Now we're going to ask you, who can we trust? Who are those people? Where is their conscience? Some of you that read your Bible, you remember, Bible said, because you take pleasure in doing evil, Almighty God himself will give you up to a replicable mind. When you do those your evil, we will no longer notice that you are doing wrong thing.
Yeah.
Now they come in, they've been collecting money. Chinas and Woru come in public in Radio Biafra to tell us one commissioner pay a powerful 40 million to stop sit at home. It was our I can remember 18th. That was either 18th of August. 18th of August or 18th of July last year. But the date actually was 18th for the month, either August or July. Check that date. You will see the brokers of China Samoru. When he was telling you
of July this year,
that
right?
Our leader,
18th of July this year.
Not this year, last year.
Okay.
When they rendition our leader. Yeah. 18th of July. Either July or August, but it is 18th. You can see that China Samoru was telling the Biafran people that our leader said
I think we have a problem about that network. I would have loved Biafrans to hear what he's trying to say. That China Samoru told the people what our leader said. So at that point, we'll still get him back. Hopefully, let's see how it goes, so we can be able to have a network. Although our time, we spent enough time.
It becomes invisible, brother.
Okay, please, you have to start from the point. We didn't hear you actually. You said that China Samoru said that our leader said something, so we couldn't hear you from that point. You said, okay, so continue from there. That's 18th of July last year when China Samoru said something.
Good.
Leader. Okay.
Good. This is what I said.
Okay.
China Samoru in the radio Biafra told Biafran people, me and you, that our leader sit at home. They should cancel sit at home. This is the China Samoru 18th, either July or August last year, said that our leader, through our lawyer, said they should stop sit at home. That later Ejimako denied that it wasn't him that the message was passed through.
Yes.
If you can still remember, Ejimako said it was not him, but China Samoru said it was Ejimako. There we begin to see the skeletons in the cupboard. But today, the same mouth that said our leader said has come out to say a serving commissioner in one of the states was willing to pay 40 million for them to stop sitting at home. Then, now I can categorically tell you that they collected 40 million and above to stop sitting at home. The same way they collected money to say people should go and vote in Anambra election. Now, I'm beginning to Biafran people should start asking questions. People that are doing this kind of thing, are they ready to get this Biafra for you? These people that you are not seeing, these invisible leaders, how do you think leaders will give you a visible nation? My brother,
that's strange.
How do you think on this earth that invisible leader, nation? Is it?
It's not possible, because anybody who is faceless is actually not real. If you are telling me something is as important as freedom and you are faceless, I don't know you, I can't see your face, I can't even identify you, then you are actually not real. because it's either you are trying to manipulate me from somewhere.
Sorry. Like I was saying, a faceless individual will always do worse thing because you don't know their face.
Yes.
You can't hold them to account for their actions because you don't know who they are. That's why you see them doing whatever they are doing. But today, shame has become their portion.
Yeah.
For somebody like that. Do you know the first person that DOS wanted to use to test these expelling power was the king? At the beginning, when our leader's extraordinary rendition was the talk of town then, Ikenga was the person that started asking the US question. If you can still remember, he was the first person.
Yes, of course. Yes, he was actually the first person that was actually asking questions.
He was the first person that started asking questions. But since the very first day they threatened him with sanction, that's how Ikenga left who he used to be till today that I'm talking to you.
And has become so
he has now become, if you can't beat them,
join them.
So to run a very long distance to give you answer about sabotaging this group. I mean, this is a struggle. About the rate of the sabotage. That's why I told you it's an alarming rate. But thanks be to God. Bible said there is no temptation that comes to a man that such as common. Then all, he said he will give you a way of escape.
Escape, yeah.
IPOB autopilot came as a way of escape for Biafran people and for this struggle. In this our hand, there is left, there is right.
Yes.
The left have been in position, and today, right has come to take over. Like our leader said, those that were to restore Biafra is in the ship, is that the pilot of this movement now. And we pilot this movement till Biafra come. And Biafra is going to come. I am telling you categorically, you yourself know what you are working on the ground. Apart from this media war we are into, we still have one or two things we are doing on the ground. And from what you know that Biafra is more than ready than ever before.
Definitely, that's short. We have about 3 minutes to end this broadcast. I want you to tell Biafrans to understand the value of this sit at home, what significantly we want to achieve with this sit at home. And Friday, because we have a target. The sit at home is part of the underground plan, which the people need to know, of course, and then they need to obey and, of course, follow the direction, the instruction, so that we will achieve that purpose. Please tell them.
First of all, if I can hear you right, the signification of the purpose of this Asaba Massacre Remembrance Day, we want to let our brothers and sisters from the coastal region that we are not dividing. Biafra is not divided.
That's it.
We want to let them know that we are standing shoulder to shoulder with them. We want to let them know that their pain is our pain. We want to let them know that the heat was not just for them alone. We want to let our coastal region, likewise one idiot that is making mouth, one Ogogoro man, Magnus or Raka, who have been talking trash here and there, he was trying to come close to our leader. He thought the Biafran struggle is the PDP share the money movement. When he discovered that it's not a PDP share the money movement, he started talking trash. I can categorically tell you that I have his account number. Yeah, even me, Gaddafi, he has been begging me money, time with that number. He has sent me his account, time with that number. His own agitator, these are the Nzama group. He started. In fact, he was in Zama. He's from Delta State, either Urobo or Isoko. These two places, he came from that zone. We want to let him know that Biafra you see today is Biafra of yesterday, because the boundary is the old eastern region. Forget the ones that they pushed to Kogi, the ones they pushed to Benue. Those plots were just to reduce us. But what we're trying to let the people know is that the remembrance of Asaba Massacre is fresh in our hearts. It is the deaths of our brothers and sisters, the husbands, the wives. They are Biafran citizens. And this Asaba Massacre is not just for Asaba Massacre. We extend it to Obibo Massacre. We extend it to Nkwo Massacre. We extend it to Ngwa National High School Massacre. We extend it to Ibuacha Massacre during the time of Trump. So I want the Biafran people to come out in mass to respect that day. Hello?
They'll come out by sitting at home. Total lockdown.
Yes, they come out in mass by sitting at home, respecting that day. You are not doing it because you are not doing it for me. You are doing it to respect the dead. Those ones that have used their blood to purchase this land of Biafra. Those ones that have used their blood to serve. Those ones who are marching on top of their blood because they pour it on the ground to save me and you. These are people you need to respect. In Igbo land, in Biafra land, we recognize respect to the dead because they paid the ultimate price. They paid the price that money cannot buy just to save you. I encourage you all to sit at home that day. From beginning of Biafra to the end of the Biafra, I want everybody to recognize this thing, this day. The Asaba Massacre is not just the only thing we are remembering. We remember those that died also in Biafran War. We also remember those that died in Nkwa High School. We remember those that died in Obibo. We remember those that are dying today in Imo State. We are also remembering those that died in Anambra State. My brother, we can't count them enough because they are much to be counted. They are more. But all I have to from people, please, come out in mass and respect that day. Sit in your house and God will bless you for doing that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mazi Gaddafi, for the analysis. In fact, you have opened our eyes to so many things we need to know. We have seen the politicizing of the death of our people, especially in Obibo. We have seen what the lawyers are trying to do, using the concept of the dead to politicize and to appease their political gods. And of course, Biafrans know better because we understand. And thank you so much, Mazi Gaddafi, for opening the eyes of Biafrans to understand all of that. And please, you have to understand this, that don't get yourself distracted by these people who are trying to use these things to score a political point or score some points. They are actually doing their businesses in their fraudulent and dubious and wicked ways. But our focus is Biafra. So when you see all these lawyers and all these people saying what they're saying and trying to deceive you, manipulate you, Brisbane is working, that is working, hail this, we are done and dusted, they are all distractions to make you begin to think that you can get results from their activities. Results can never come from their activities. Results can only come from the autopilot activity. And that is why you have to follow instructions. If you are told to sit at home, you sit at home. If you are told to do anything, if you are told to support ESN, you support ESN. The job is to obey instructions, and you will see that what you do will actually bring results to what we're doing. So don't let yourself be distracted. Mazi, Mazi Gaddafi has opened our eyes now. You can see the perspective right now that they are using, in spite of all the dead, the killings, and all the massacre. They are looking at Obibo as a reference point to helping Atiku gain political strength. But of course, they are not going to have any election in Biafra land. No election in Biafra land, that's our target. We are not going to have any election. So I want you to understand all of this fact. And please, tomorrow by 1 p.m. Biafra time, we're going to continue this broadcast on the horror of Asaba Massacre and the video evidences, and we're going to keep the analysis going on. And then of course, if we're going to have guests, many guests who's going to come, I'm going to let you know. So at that time, they're going to join us. And if Mazi Gaddafi will be available also, he will also come up to tell us so many things on that too. And I want you to understand also that this evening by 6 p.m. Biafra time, I'll continue the analysis of the Fela's music and Teacher No Teach Me Nonsense, and the messages that he gave to us and the clue he gave to us to how to get our freedom. All these things are in that song that sometimes we just dance to and we just forget. Teacher No Teach Me Nonsense, if you know that song very well, and we've been analyzing it. So this evening by 6 p.m. Biafra, we're going to still treat that. It's just 30 minutes. We're going to do it and then we're done. With that 30 to 40 minutes, we're going to be through with that. And if we have to move it, we'll move it to the next day. But tomorrow afternoon again, by this time, we're going to be dealing on this Asaba Massacre thing. We're going to be looking at some other vital important matters arising. And of course, we are going to also have, if we're going to have Mazi Gaddafi here, if he has the time, he's going to come up. So your final words. Oh, yes, Mazi Gaddafi, your final words before we go. Thank you.
Oh, that's good. That's good. My final words is that if you want to know the intelligence reports, the intelligence updates, we'll be bringing it to Biafran people stage by stage as we get them from their midst. Like we said, we have our men in our WhatsApp group, mostly from Force Headquarters in Abuja, and defense in Jaji. We have our men in their WhatsApp group, every of their plan. Also, their WhatsApp group in Onitsha Barrack and Enugu Barrack, and yeah, we have our men there. So one of the greatest achievements we have achieved is that we place our people in their WhatsApp group where they discuss their issues, and we discover and we'll be bringing you the intelligence updates of their plan. The recent plan they had was, they want to start what my Lafia Obadiah said.
Yeah, Mazi Gaddafi, we've lost you. Can you still hear? We've lost you. All right, dear friends, tomorrow you're going to be hearing more. If he's available, he's going to come up also to give us more information on these facts. You must stay tuned. This is Biafra Global Network. My name is Kelechi Ambrose. Mazi Gaddafi was the guest today.
We
also
start coming out.
Still on. Okay, now listen. Okay, conclude. Yeah, we didn't hear you actually. It went off, so I was just trying to cover up. So, go on. So your final
Hello?
thoughts. Yes, you can go on now. You can go on now. We can hear you now.
Like I was saying, we are in all their group WhatsApp platforms. The ones in Jaji, the ones in Force Headquarters, we are also there. And the ones in Onitsha Barrack and Enugu Barrack, we are also there. Then we are trying to report to Biafran people from time to time. We'll be updating Biafran people the intelligence report we are gathering about their plan. What Maya Lafia Obadiah said, 2022, they will start assassinating the political elite from the south. That is pure. It is in high gear now. What I want to tell Biafran people, that funny videos will start emanate, will start coming out. They will kill and make video. Their purpose is just to stain the name of Eastern Security Network. Most of these things they do, they will do it and put it on the name of Eastern Security Network to see if they can discourage our determination. But we just want to tell the Biafran people ahead that this is the plan this army are planning, and when they begin to carry it out, they should know that we have already gotten this intel and revealed to them, which we'll be doing in every autopilot media. Sometimes we'll be giving them the situation report, the intelligence report as we are gathering them. Anywhere they go, we are there. But as long as we are resolute on our decision, in our conviction, we are not going to back down. None of their blackmail will make us to back down. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
None of their blackmail that will make us to back down. If they like, let them kill Uzodimma. If they like, let them kill Buhari and say it's security. We don't care. All is Biafra. And I want to let Biafran people to know this thing. Eastern Security Network, they don't go into kidnapping. They don't engage themselves into kidnapping. They are not into it. Anybody who brings that kind of report, please disregard them.
Yeah.
And Eastern Security Network does not kill the one that were called to protect, as our leader said. So when they finish their plan as they're planning it and start carrying it out, we already know the end part of it because they know what they're planning ahead. So thank you, my brother. Above all, I see Bruce Payne as P2B. There is no two different in between them. There's no different. Because P2B is to distract us from Biafran restoration.
Yes.
And Bruce is also working to distract Mwike and carry us along to foolishly believe in their political solution of whatever. So we are not interested in that. Our eyes is in Biafra. Look unto Simon Ekpa. Whatever he says is what we are saying. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you so much, Mazi Gaddafi. And if you want to hear more, get more information, you can subscribe to Biafra Freedom Voice TV. That is Mazi Gaddafi's platform. Biafra Freedom Voice TV. Biafra Freedom Voice TV. Just go there, subscribe. You'll be receiving notification, and then you'll be getting updates. You'll be getting information that you need to get from that platform. Cogent and urgent information. Very genuine information. We don't portray, we don't carry false information on our platforms. That is why Autopilot is unique. We tell you the truth, we tell you what is on ground, and we'll tell you to obey instructions so that you can get your freedom too, as much as we are fighting for our own freedom. So God bless you all for joining us, and we thank Mazi Gaddafi for joining and being part of this. And of course, we're going to have him more as we go on this. Remember, tomorrow afternoon by 1 p.m. Biafra time, we're going to continue this topic, part 4 of it. And then, of course, this evening, 6 p.m. Biafra time, I'm going to continue the Fela's teaching, the Fela song teaching. So that's what we're going to do. Thank you so much for joining. We have taken your time today because we needed to analyze some of these things. This is 1 hour and 52 minutes now. Thank you so much. Mazi Gaddafi, thank you so much for joining us and for being a wonderful Biafrans. And please go to his channel. As much as you subscribe to this channel, go to his channel to subscribe to Biafra Freedom Voice TV. That is his channel. You subscribe, and then we also continue from there. Thank you so much, all. Join me this evening by 6 p.m. Biafra time. God bless you wherever you are. God bless you really good. Good day, and have a lovely day, and enjoy yourselves. Thank you. Prepare for Friday lockdown, total lockdown of Biafra land, and tell other people too. Thank you so much.